Hello dear learners, I am Rashmi and in this session today we are going to discuss about operating systems. What all we are going to cover is we will discuss about the concept of operating system, we will identify what are the various types of operating systems that are available, and we will also describe what are the operating systems and the different components of an operating system. So first of all, what is an operating system? The name itself explains a lot. The one thing which is used to operate a system is called the operating system. In a computer, the basic fundamental on which you operate all your softwares and on which you run all the programs that you are going to manage, that is called the operating system. It is a software that manages hardware resources and provide common services for computer programs. The different types of operating systems available nowadays are Microsoft Windows, Mac OS and Linux. Windows is one of the most commonly used operating system, and there are different versions of all the operating systems that are available. Every operating system, whenever they launch some new features and when they enhance something, a new version is released. So basically Microsoft Windows, as we have discussed, it is most commonly used operating system and more than 80% of people use Microsoft Windows. The different versions of Microsoft Windows are 98, then we have XP, then we have Windows 7, 8, 10. The latest one that they have released and is popularly used nowadays is called Windows 10. Then Mac OS is specially designed for Apple. So Microsoft Windows, as we have mentioned, that it is most commonly used. This is used by the most of the brands. For example, if we have a Dell laptop, we have Lenovo, HP, most of the brands are basically using Windows, though it is not restricted and totally based on the brand of the computer that we are using. We can always update the operating system in the computer that we are using, whether it is a laptop or a desktop. We can update and configure a new operating system in this device, but specifically when you purchase a new laptop, the Apple one always comes with a Mac operating system and it is compatible with only that. Otherwise we can upgrade the other devices that we have, but the Apple device is specifically designed to work on the Mac operating system. So that is configurable with that only. We can have different versions, but all the Apple devices run on the Apple softwares, Apple operating systems only. Then we have Linux. Linux and Unix are free and open source operating systems. This is a command line based operating system which is available, and generally operating system more or less have a similar functionality, be it the command line operating system, Linux, or the Windows operating systems like Microsoft Windows and Mac, but only the user interface is different. The way you see and the way you have a look at the features and how it is spread, the user interface, the interface that is shown to the user, you see and you check what are the folders, how do you list the files. So those things are different, but the functionalities, the operations that we perform are more or less similar. So let's talk about some more operating systems in detail. We have then Android. These softwares that we are going to talk about are especially for the mobile devices. We have Android operating system. This is again for all the devices, mostly other than Apple devices, though there are some more devices, those have their own operating system, but again the major chunk is based on the Android system only. The most commonly used operating system for mobiles is Android. So Android is again a Linux based program and it is free and open software stack, and that has an operating system, it has a middleware, and all the applications are originally developed by Google. So Android operating system is provided by Google, and all the applications, different features in the Android, those are developed at in-house in the Google. And the iOS, again it is provided by Apple, and all the middlewares and the applications available in iOS are made by Apple and developed in-house in the company. So iOS is commonly known as iPhone operating system because iPhone works on the iOS, and then we have all the devices by Apple like iPods. So all of them have their own operating system which is provided by Apple, and that is this small letter I. is specially prefixed to the operating system, and that helps us identify that this operating system or this device, for example iPhone, iPod, this belongs to Apple. So those are the Apple devices and those work on Mac. This is a basic simple screenshot of how Windows 10 desktop would look like. You know, it is a locked screen of Windows 10 wherein you see that this is the wallpaper that the user has set. There are different Windows operating system, as I have already told you. So this is one which is recently made available and is now used by people. Otherwise we have Windows 7, Windows 8. Windows 7 was one of the most popular operating system provided by Microsoft. And after that there were some huge changes made in the operating system when Microsoft Windows 8 was launched, and 7 is still a commonly used operating system, because as I told you, there were major changes that the company has made from switching from 7 to 8, although there was always lot of changes when they have shifted from XP to Vista, and there are so many operating systems, but 7 is still a commonly used operating system. Then we have 8 and 10 also, which are lately used. So this is from Windows 10. We are going to discuss about Windows 10 now, because now this is the latest operating system made available by Microsoft and it is now popularly used. So this is again a screenshot of Windows 10 operating system, wherein when a user has simply pressed on the start menu. So what is available here on the start menu? On any Windows operating system, you see that in the bottom there is a taskbar. On that taskbar, on the leftmost side, you see a start button, wherein you click it and you see the list of available programs and the list of softwares installed in this particular operating system, and then you choose based on whatever your requirement is. Now when you click on this particular icon, start button, on Windows 10 operating system, this is how it looks like. On the screen you will see there is a screenshot in which the left top area is the details of the recently used programs. First of all, topmost would be the account's name. In this screenshot that we have used, the user's name is Sapna Shukla. So whatever username that you have used to log into the device, that would be shown on the top of this bar, and then the recently and most used programs, this list will be shown here on the left side, and then in the bottom on the left panel itself you will see that the settings are available. There is a file explorer. File explorer is again a simply the folder that you open on any device when you double click on the My Computer, or you double click on any folder that is available. A window is opened wherein you can see what all different files are available in this particular folder. Or for example, if you have opened My Computer, you have just double clicked on the My Computer icon and it opens up an explorer for you, and you see that what all different drives are available in this particular computer system. C and D are the basic drives, those are available when you get a operating system installed as a scratch. These are the two drives available, in which the C drive is used to hold that operating system. So whenever you install an operating system, it is installed in the C drive, and then you get a D drive which is available for your file storage and everything. You can store things in D drive. Generally you might have seen, the most common practice of students or anybody using a computer is to save the files on the desktop. What is a desktop? So desktop is nothing but a folder within the C drive. In the C drive you have your own folder with this username that you have used to log in this particular operating system, and in this users list you will find different folders saying desktop, documents, download, pictures, all these things, which are basically what this operating system has done is it has divided the files based on the type. So you might have picture types, you might have audio, you might have some videos, you might have documents listed, and then there is a downloads folder which is used by default when you download something from the internet. So these are the folders categorized automatically by the Windows operating system, and then you can use them, but it is not always mandatory to use them in this particular way. You can always create your own folders in your own drives. You can change the drive partition as well. If you don't want that just having two drives in your computer system, C and D, you can split them in furthermore drives. You can partition based on your requirement, like I want to store maybe my study material in one particular drive differently, and then I want to store some other material in different drives. So you always partition it, but basically by default these two drives are available. Then I was talking about the desktop items. Those are available under the users folder in this particular directory called desktop. So when you open my computer, the window which is opened, that is called File Explorer, and similarly the files available on the desktop can also be seen in the File Explorer through this path. You can go to the C drive, and then you can go to your own user drive, and then you can find the desktop there, and then you can see all the files listed there in this particular folder in the File Explorer window. So here is a shortcut to find the File Explorer. Open the File Explorer, it will open a default folder for you, and then you can browse to whatever location you want to. And then you have settings. There are settings available with the operating system. You can install and uninstall a program, which is the most commonly used feature in an operating system. When you have to start an operating system, you have to configure that computer based on your requirements. So you might have to install some more software that you are using, that you have to work on. So that is the one common setting. Then you can do the account related settings. You can change the username, you can set a password to this user, you can create another user, all these things. You can also set a picture when you log in on this computer with this particular user. You can set the picture based on this particular user also. That can also be done through the settings. And then you can change the look and feel of the desktop, the whole computer system, the user interface. You can change the background, you can change the size of the icons. So there are endless options available, and all of these can be accessed through setting. Then we have a shortcut to all the apps that are available, and also the option to shut down or hibernate or whatever, log off the computer. So all these things are available under the power option. So this is just for the Windows 10 operating system. Based on the version of operating system, there might be slight changes. 10 is more similar to Windows 8 as compared to Windows 7. 8 and 10 are most little bit similar to each other as compared to the previous operating systems, but again based on the version there must be some differences. Whenever you you operate a new operating system, you will find that there are few different things, or maybe differently organized. All the things would be there, all the features. So for example, I said in an operating system you can do all these settings. These settings you can do in Windows 7 as well, you can do in Windows 8, you can do in Windows 10. In any operating system, they have to have this setting that you have to, for example, let's say you have to install a new operating system or a new software, or uninstall a new software in this particular operating system that you are using. So any operating system, you must be having this requirement that whatever operating system you are using, you have to use, for example, you are going to use Turbo C for your C programming. So you have to install it irrespective of what operating system you are using. You have to anyways install. So this feature has to be there, because you in any operating system you can't use it without having different softwares. So it has to be there. The only thing is that it might be slightly here and there based on the different versions of operating system that you are using. So all these, just like this, all the other features would be available in any operating system, but the only look and feel or the way it is displayed, those things will be changed. The the manner of organizing all these things would be changed, but everything would be available. So File Explorer, as we just touched the topic File Explorer, and we discussed that when you open, double click a folder and you open it, be it My Computer or any other folder, you see this window wherein different files and folders are listed, what are available in that particular folder. This is the Windows File Explorer. Then we have some shortcuts available for the quick access and OneDrive. These are the different types of file explorers available with different operating systems. OneDrive is again a type of explorer in which you store all the files and folder differently. Then there is a quick access, again based on operating system that you are using and the version you are using. These things might differ. Then we have Microsoft Edge and Windows Defender. These are basically restricted to the Microsoft operating system only. Now here we are talking about the Microsoft Windows system only, since we have started discussing Windows 10. So Microsoft Edge is a new browser that is launched by Microsoft itself. You must be knowing Google Chrome browser, which is nowadays the most commonly used browser that is provided by the company Google, but Microsoft Edge is most compatible browser for Microsoft Windows. This is a new browser that Microsoft itself has launched and it is used on Windows specifically. Now browser is simply your gateway to connect to the internet. Whenever you have to use one particular site, you have to mention the address. There should be a channel through which you reach that particular site, through which you access internet. So that is a browser, and Microsoft Edge is the browser provided by Microsoft. Then we have Windows Defender. Windows Defender is antivirus software. What is an antivirus software? So whenever you access internet, your computer, your operating system is likely to be attacked by unknown resources, unknown programs which are not so useful, and those are created to steal some information from your computer. You might have seen nowadays, based on the policies, many websites have to display the warning that this website uses cookies. So cookies is something that is specific to your computer. It has the combination of what computer system you are using, what files you are using, and through which internet providing software you have connected to the internet, also through the which internet provider company. So all these things are used, and then when you access one particular site and when you log in, so there are some cookies created and there is some cache which is stored in your device. You might have seen that when you open one website for the first time, it takes a lot of time to load. When a new website is opened in your system, it takes a lot of time. Sometimes if the website is heavy, if it is small, then it is loaded quickly. But if the website is heavy, it has a lot of images, videos, or a lot of scripts running on the that particular page that you have opened, it would take a lot of time to load. But when you open it again after some time, you have opened it once, you have closed it now, then you open it again after maybe 1 or 2 hours, then it would get opened a little bit faster. It would take less time as compared to the time that it has taken when it was opened for the first time. Why is it? It is because some of the information from this website is stored as a cache in your local system. In your local system, this address, if suppose you have opened NIOS's website, nios.ac.in, that if you have opened your system in the network folder, it will make a particular folder particularly mentioned for NIOS only, and some of the information would be stored in this local folder which is on your system. So when you next time open the same website, your system will find that whether a folder is available in your local system or not for this particular website. It finds it and it opens a lot of information through that, and rest of the information which is only available on the server side, through the website, through the internet only, that information is loaded again. Sometimes you might have seen that you have opened a website, there is some new information, but your computer is not showing it. Somebody else, if they have opened a website on their computer and they are accessing the same page, you see that there is a little bit difference in their page and the page that is opened on my system. Why is it so? Because your computer might have accessed something through the cache and you have not refreshed it, that is why it is showing the previous information that was already stored. And also you might not be connected to the internet now, so it is only showing the previous information that was gathered previously when you were connected to the internet. Now the other user has connected to the internet and opened a new page and refreshed this page, so the latest information has been captured from this particular new website that you have opened, and that is why they are showing the latest information. Once you refresh your page when you are connected to the internet, the information on your page will also be refreshed and you will see that now the information on both the systems is same. So this is about the cache. Then we have some of the cookies that are stored by a particular website and accessed by them also. For example, if you have logged into some website and you have opened a new page also, how does the system know? For example, you have logged in on Facebook and once you log in, you don't log out, and then you open the browser again and then you see that you are still logged in. Why is it so? Because the website has stored a session cookie. In this cookie, they have stored this information that this particular user has logged in using this username and password. They will store it, and unless you log out or the connection goes, or the browser if you have mentioned that whenever I close this browser, the history should delete. So in such cases, those cookies will be deleted. Otherwise, this cookie will be used, and the website that you are using will use this cookie to see that whether you are logged in or not. So these types of cookies are accessed by some of the websites to process the information. Sometimes they gather some information from you. Some websites, even if you do not log in at those websites, they still gather the cookies. Why? Because they have to gather some information about you. You might have seen that you see the ads based on your interests only. The advertisements, those are shown on your browser, are based on your interest only. You have previously searched for something, and suppose you have searched for one particular book, and now your browser is showing you advertisements for this particular book only. Why is it so? Because they have read your cookie, and they know that you were previously searching for this particular book and that you are in need of it, so they will show you advertisement based on that particular cookie only. So when these things are happening, the devices are capable enough to steal some of the private information that should not be stealed. That is why an antivirus software in a system is required that will identify that what should be the limit of the information that should be sent through the internet and what should not be sent. So this antivirus software is going to decide on all these things, and it will keep your private things private. It will keep some information in the restricted zone, which the internet websites and those cookies and everything, they will not be able to access this information which is stored in this particular restricted zone by this antivirus software. And whenever something tries to access this particular information, you will be shown a notification. This device or this website is going to trying to access this particular folder which it is not allowed to. So you should restrict it, you should create a wall, and all these again, these settings are based are differently available in different types of antivirus softwares that we have, but the functionality and the objective is same. So that is all that we have to discuss about the operating systems. This was basically about the Windows operating system that is most commonly used. Otherwise, as we have discussed, there are different types of operating systems available based on different companies that the computer that you are using. Different companies have different operating systems, and different those are capable with the different devices. We have covered Apple operating systems, the iOS, which is is called iOS. Those are particularly used for the Apple devices like iPhone, iOS, the Mac operating system for your laptop computer, which is provided by the Apple. Then we have Android, the mobile operating systems. Those are Android and again iOS for the mobile devices of Apple. Android is most commonly used by all the companies who have different mobile companies. Those are available other than Apple are mostly using Android softwares. Some of them are using their own operating systems as per their they have configured it for their particular devices. Other than this, we have also talked about the antivirus software that is used to protect your computer from the internet, and we have talked about the different browsers that are used to access the internet. Thank you so much. That's all for the day.